Pattern-making books and courses teach you to draft jacket lapels and collars like this.
Everyone has their own specific measurements to draft the lines. Whichever one you use, you'll end up with something like this. This is the lapel and this is the collar.
And there is nothing wrong with this method. It works, but it is not how jacket collars are drafted in the industry nowadays. Hi, welcome to Pattern Making with Lee. In today's video, I'm going to explain one of the biggest disconnects between how pattern making is taught and what happens in the industry, jacket collars.
Back in 2015, I learned how to draft jacket patterns at St. Martin's using this method. But when you go to the shops or create patterns in the industry, you'll see all the jackets and coats have a two-piece collar.
And you're probably thinking, yeah, they split the collar into two pieces, a separate stand and collar piece. And that's what I thought. It makes sense, right?
And lots of books I've read and courses I've taken say you can do that.
And you can, but that is not what's happening on modern jacket collars. They're shaped more like shirt collars. And you take my word for it.
I created lots of jackets while I was working at McQueen, so I know what's going on.
But I really encourage you to be your own teacher.
Go to your wardrobe and try and lie your jacket collar and stand flat. You won't be able to. If the stand is flat, the collar buckles. If the collar is flat, the stand isn't.
But before I tell you how you can learn how to draft modern jacket lapels and collars, let me explain to you why you're being taught draft jackets this way. You are learning a traditional tailoring technique.
When tailor jackets are made, the machinist molds the collar by folding and pressing it along the break line, while keeping this sort of parallel shape of the stand below it. The pattern isn't designed to do this though, so the fabric is fighting you. In the end, to do both these things, so fold the collar on the break line and keep the shape of the stand, you need to stretch the base of the collar that's attached to the neckline by about 20%, so it's 20% longer. See how you get the same effect as an industry two-piece collar?
You probably worked out why we don't use this method anymore. Feels like it'd take a long time, right? And you don't have that sort of time when you're working in a factory on production. Also, you're relying on the machinist's unique sort of skill set to actually mold the collar, which means you aren't getting consistent results. Plus, not all fabrics can do this. Imagine trying to do it with leather or really tightly woven fabric. It can't do it. Plus, as you create higher and more sort of shaped collars, even the most flexible woven fabrics, woven wools, can't do it either. So you can see this approach has so many design, fabric, and production limitations, which is why even high-end designers create two-piece collars shaped like a shirt collar. So why are people still teaching this? I mean, it still works, right? And it's traditional tailoring, but your teacher probably doesn't know any better. Unless you've watched in an industry as a pattern maker, you wouldn't know that collars are made this way nowadays. And because it's in a book, they assume it's the most up-to-date drafting reference they can give you, but it's not. Drafting really needs an update, which is why I created my first drafting course. And not only will we learn how to create an industry two-piece collar, but it will share all the practical information that I learned on the job that I've never found in courses or books.
Like where to adjust the neckline to make it bigger and smaller, because some sections need to be tightened, how to calculate the correct front extension for single and double-breasted jackets, and how to position your break line.
Everyone's got their own rules for these, but I'll be showing the ones that I learned at St. Martin's and I've been using ever since.
How to draft different collar shapes, space and position buttons and buttonholes, including where to place the jigger button, and last but not least, how to create a facing and finish shaped hems.
And that's all in a 15-page illustrated PDF with some fitting tips at the end. And you probably think it's a bit longer than what the books you've read or the handouts you received in courses. That's because it really has all the practical information that you need to draft a jacket, lapel, and collar perfectly. And that's my goal with all these videos, my pattern kits, and now my drafting courses, to give you all the practical information you need to make patterns that actually work. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell so you don't miss any more videos. One last thing on jackets, if you're looking for a base to use to create your jacket, I would suggest using a torso block or my click torso block for more fitted jackets. If you want something more oversized without any darts, I recommend using my one dart fitted dress block because you can really easily remove the dart and make it a dartless silhouette, which you can learn how to do in this video.